Have you heard the incredible news from the Toronto Maple Leafs camp? After weeks of uncertainty, our star goalie is making strides in his recovery. Imagine the excitement as the team gears up for the crucial Four Nations face-off, and it looks like we might see him back in the crease sooner than we thought. How will this impact our playoff push? Stay tuned to find out. Today, I've got some exciting news that every Toronto Maple Leafs fan has been waiting for. Our goaltender Anthony Stolarz is making significant strides in his recovery from injuries. As we gear up for the final stretch of the season and the impending Four Nations face-off, this is exactly the kind of boost we needed. Head coach Craig Berube has been cautious with Stolarz's return, and honestly, I can appreciate that approach. We all want him to come back strong, but the anticipation has been palpable. After being sidelined since December 12th, almost a month and a half, seeing Stolarz participate in a full practice today is a huge step forward. It's a relief to know that our starting goaltender for the 2024-25 season is close to returning right when we need him most. Now, let's talk about Joseph Woll, who has been holding down the fort during Stolarz's absence. He's had a solid run, and the stats back that up. His play has earned him recognition, and you've got to give credit where it's due. But the reality is, having two reliable goaltenders as we close out the season is going to be crucial. Berube and his staff know how important it is to have options, especially as we head into high-stakes games. With only 5 games left before the Four Nations face-off, the timing couldn't be better. Stolarz being back in the mix not only strengthens our lineup, but also offers a psychological boost to the team and the fans. It's like a spark of hope for all of us, isn't it? And let's be real, it's a lot easier to dream big when you know you have a strong goaltender backing the team. Looking ahead, our next matchup against the Minnesota Wild is looming. However, it's worth noting that their star player, Kirill Kaprizov, may be out due to an injury that requires surgery. If that's the case, this could be a golden opportunity for us to capitalize on their weakened lineup. I mean, every advantage counts in this cutthroat league, right? As a passionate fan, I can't help but feel optimistic about our chances with Stolarz potentially back in action. But I have to ask, do you think this was the best decision to cautiously bring him back now? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, we absolutely need him. On the other, rushing him back could jeopardize not just his future, but also our playoff hopes. I want to talk about Vyacheslav Peksa, the young goaltender who recently got reassigned back to the Cincinnati Cyclones of the ECHL after a rough start with the Toronto Marlies in the AHL. It's a tough break for a player who many hoped would be a key part of the Leafs' future between the pipes. Peksa, who was drafted by the Leafs back in 2021, joined the organization after making a name for himself in the KHL with Bars Kazan. He showcased incredible potential with his quick reflexes and agility, but the transition to North American hockey has clearly been challenging for him. In just 2 games with the Marlies, he posted a disheartening record of 0-1-0, a 3.77 goals against average, and a .78 save percentage. Those numbers are far from what we need to see to feel confident about his development. Now, I know many of you are looking at this situation and wondering what's next for Peksa and the Leafs. Is this a setback, or just a part of the growing pains that young goaltenders often experience? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, it's disheartening to see a promising player struggle. On the other hand, we've seen countless examples of players needing more time to adjust before they find their footing in the NHL. Peksa's numbers with the Cyclones were slightly better, with a record of .382, a 3.20 GAA, and a .75 SV%. While those stats still leave a lot to be desired, it's important to recognize that he's still adapting to a different style of play and a new environment. This is a process, and it's crucial for the Maple Leafs to ensure that he gets the right development opportunities, even if it means taking a step back temporarily. We've seen the Leafs invest heavily in their goaltending depth, with promising prospects like Denis Hildeby and Artur Akhtiamov also in the mix. With the current struggles of Peksa, there's a chance that Hildeby may get more attention as the organization looks to nurture its future stars. It's a double-edged sword, though. While we want to develop our young talent, we also need to ensure that we have reliable options on the NHL roster now. This is where the emotional roller coaster comes into play for us fans. The Maple Leafs have been searching for stability in the net for years, and every time we see a young goaltender falter, it raises those familiar feelings of anxiety and impatience. Will this be just another case of a promising goalie falling short? Or can Pexa turn things around and fulfill the potential that had everyone so excited when he was drafted? And let's not forget the pressure that comes with playing for a storied franchise like the Leafs. The expectations are sky high, and that can weigh heavily on a young player's shoulders. It's vital for the organization to provide Pexa with the right support system and a patient approach, giving him the time he needs to develop without the constant scrutiny that comes from being in the spotlight. So, what do you think? Was sending Pexa back down the right decision? Or should the Maple Leafs have given him more time to find his game at the AHL level? I want to hear your thoughts. It's crucial for us as fans to engage in this discussion, because the direction the team takes now could significantly impact our future hopes. As we dive into the season, we have to remain optimistic but realistic. The Leafs are trying to build a strong foundation for years to come, and decisions like this, while tough, are part of that process. We all want to see our team succeed, and it's clear that the management is doing everything they can to ensure that happens. So please, share your expectations and opinions down below. What are your thoughts on Pexa's reassignment? Do you believe he can bounce back and become a reliable goaltender? Or do you think it's time to look elsewhere for our future in net? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on all things Toronto Maple Leafs. And make sure to activate the notification bell to get all the latest updates. Let's keep the conversation going, and I can't wait to hear what you all have to say.